Hello and welcome to the Deconditioning Blueprint. This is part one entitled The Mechanics of Conditioning. We are going to take a journey through the not self places of your human design chart. Those places where you can discover who you are not so that you can more fully awaken to and align with who you are. My intention for you is to empower you with the information, the tools, the fuel for insight that you need so that you can truly live the magnificence that you know that you're here to live. My overall vision for doing this work is to make this knowledge of human design easily accessible and understandable. So that's what we'll be doing in this course. I will be breaking down some concepts for you that may have been cryptic in your own research of human design so that you can begin to take it apart and apply it to your life, to your design, and really work with these concepts so that you can awaken and feel good about your design. So, the deconditioning process in terms of human design, in terms of learning about your design, aligning with your design, living from your design, is a process of awakening to your true self. So, when we talk about deconditioning here in human design speak, we're talking about shedding the maladaptive patterns, the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs that aren't supporting your true self-expression. This is why you probably gravitated toward this body graph, because you really want to have a truer sense of yourself. You really want to express yourself, your being in the world in a way where you get to live the upper end of your life experience. But if you have these patterns, if you have these behaviors, these attitudes, these beliefs, some of which you may not even be aware of, you're not going to easily be able to free yourself from them. So that's the beauty of the deconditioning process, the beauty of having this framework of human design, of the human design body graph, to assist you in awakening and becoming aware of what's holding you back, where you get off balance, and what keeps you in a state of your mind wanting to control your life rather than you being able to surrender, allow, go with the flow, so to speak. That's what you really want. And when you're living in your true self-expression, you're going with the flow of your life. Your life is carrying you along. You're moving through life in a way that feels really good and aligned for you. So let's talk about some of the general ways that you can see and understand condition patterns in your life. And just take these in as signposts and markers and make note of what you recognize that you experience in your life. And maybe yours aren't on here, but these are just general things that come up when you are responding to or reacting to conditioning in a not so healthy way. So we talked about the not self themes for your energy type, that projectors experience bitterness, reflectors experience disappointment, generators experience frustration, manifestors experience anger. So these are the not self themes, the themes of resistance that you will experience when you're pushing against who you really are. There are also other things that you may recognize here, other patterns like taking things personally, feeling bad, or trying to fix issues that didn't even originate with you. Taking on other people's stuff is a big thing, and we can see that mechanically in the chart. And as we go through this course, you're going to see how you may have taken things on that aren't yours. You may be taking things personally that have nothing to do with you. And you are going to realize, because you have that visual of the chart in front of you, that none of this is personal. When you get into comparison, you know that you are responding to or reacting to conditioning in a not so healthy way. You may feel broken or like you don't measure up to others' achievements or expectations? How many times have you felt like you don't measure up, or you've got your mother's voice in the back of your head, or you feel like there's something wrong with you? There are specific patterns within the openness in your chart that can point to the behaviors and attitudes and beliefs that aren't a reflection of who you really are. And then there is ineffective decision making. And this boils down to not using your decision making authority. So when you have to make a decision, you're doing it through your conditioned thought patterns, through what your mind is telling you in order for it to stay in control, and you're not listening to your body for its clarity about what's best for you. Conditioning is not a bad thing. We're all living in this conditioning field. We're all conditioning each other. We need to be conditioning each other, but we also need to be operating from our own blueprint, from our own truth, from our own consistency in order to fully be able to take advantage of, so to speak, take advantage of the conditioning field and live within it. So life is about experience, growth, and awareness. The conditioning field is what gives you those experiences that allow you to grow, that prompt you to grow, and increase your awareness about yourself and about your life. And the conditioning field is about the dance that you do with the energies that you're here to grow from and experience. We're here to dance with each other. We're here to activate each other. We're here to inspire each other. And when we're all in a perfect world, living in alignment with who we are, we're emitting energies from the places where we're defined, and we're conditioning other people, the right other people, to the right thing, to have the experiences that are going to bring the most growth. We use the analogy of the dance partner as a way to understand where you are within the dance of life. Even if you're not the one who's leading, you still have to be that strong partner that can be led. So if you think of the conditioning field, if you think of how your magnetic monopole pulls you through life, this is not a passive endeavor. You still have to be in your own strength. And as we interpret that on your chart, you have to be on your chart, in your definition, living from your definition, so that your dance partner has a place to come in and dance with you, and then you can be guided through the steps of your life in grace and flow. So why is it important to identify the aspects of your openness that have the strongest conditioning influence? Well, it has to do with making those decisions from your decision making authority, really being able to trust your authority and not getting sidetracked, distracted, confused by all of the energies that are coming through you. So when you understand what we're going to talk about next, the hierarchy of conditioning, you can clearly identify what confuses you the most, what drains you the most, and keeps you from trusting your authority. You can actually look on your chart and know where you can begin to study the nuances of the way that you take in and filter outside energy so that you have a deeper understanding of your process for making decisions. And that deeper understanding comes through the understanding of those nuances, of understanding what happens that muddies the waters of your clarity. What specifically is happening? Where are your go-to spots where things get muddied up and you can't really feel what's going on in your authority very easily? So we've come to the end of part one. And in part one, we have talked about the mechanics of conditioning. We've explored the hows and whys of conditioning, the role that your openness plays in conditioning, and we've looked at the hierarchy of conditioning so that you get an idea of the most powerful conditioning forces upon your design. In part two, we're going to explore your definition, your splits, and the conditioning forces of those bridging gates, and how to understand that within the context of whether or not you have splits and what types of splits in your definition that you have. So we're going to look at your type of definition. We're going to look at the common patterns of compensation that your type of definition has. You're also going to get an understanding of how you may compensate for inconsistency through this lens of your definition, your splits, and conditioning. And in addition to that, we're going to discuss how you can leverage your energy so that you feel more supported, whole, and connected. Now, part three is going to be dedicated to your energy centers and how you are conditioned through your energy centers. We're going to look at the functions of each energy center, and we're going to look at the difference between the open and undefined centers, and then you're also going to get a really good understanding of the common adaptive behaviors of your open or undefined centers, and also the growth potentials of each of your open or undefined centers.